welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys like my little attempt at a Halloween theme. It's actually low-key embarrassing. I bought two little cute black pumpkins and some little like pumpkin lights just to put in the background, like, while, you know, I just wanted to kind of make a nod to Halloween. And also obviously I'm decorating at the moment, so I couldn't go too crazy, but I just thought you guys would hopefully appreciate my efforts. And also wanted to ask you guys if you like my Halloween mug. I've got a little bat mug, how cute. So if I make cuts in this video because I'm drinking, then that is why. Yeah, because I've got a cup of tea here as well. So we're in a cozy vibe, you guys. I'm feeling good. I've got my jumper on, I've got my cup of tea, and we are going to be reviewing some autumnal Arabian fragrances today for you guys. So like I mentioned in my last fragrance video, I was saying how I'm trying to start experimenting with Arabian fragrances. I want to widen my collection because I love an affordable fragrance. I've kind of turned away from designer fragrances. That's not to say I won't still buy them, but it's just like, girl, I can't cope with these prices anymore. I just can't do it. It's just, I just feel like they're taking the piss. I feel like they're laughing at us from afar. It's hard to explain, but I feel like all designer fragrances have the same kind of underlying essence to them. And it's kind of like, I'm kind of over it, girl. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm over it. So I'm looking for something a bit different, and I feel like Arabian fragrances can do that for me. So that's kind of why I'm trying to kind of turn towards those fragrances a little bit more. And yeah, they just fascinate me really, because I think all of the dupes they create are amazing, and the fact that they come up with new fragrances constantly is just really impressive to me. And the bottles and everything, I just love it, girls. I kind of wanted to give you guys the real reality of some of these really hyped up perfumes. So we've got three here today, like I mentioned. Two of them are from Latafa, one of them is from Al-Rehab, and they're very, very popular overhyped fragrances. So I want to give you guys the real tea, what they're really like. I don't lie about products, I'm very honest. I am not the kind of girl that's going to sit here and say that this smells the way that everyone else has been saying it smells. If I think it smells different to my nose, I'm going to tell you, girl. So we're just going to get right on into it. I'm going to start off by showing you guys the three fragrances we're going to be talking about today, and then we'll get into the gossip on each one. The first perfume we will be talking about is Choco Musk by Al-Rehab. The second perfume we're going to be talking about is Kamra by Latafa. Girl, I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to say about her. And the last one will be Love Affection, I think this is called. It's in the Latafa Pride collection. I don't know if it's called Affection Love or Love Affection. I think it's called Love Affection. That's kind of what most people have been calling it. So yeah, those are the three perfumes we're going to talk about, you guys, and let's just get right into it. I'm going to start off with, girl, I don't know which one to start with. I think I'm going to start with Choco Musk, because this is probably the perfume that I've got the least to say about. And that doesn't mean in a bad way. I don't want you guys to think that I don't like this perfume. As you can see, I've made a little bit of a dent in her, and I haven't had her for very long at all. So I have been using this quite frequently, and I just wanted to really get a good few wears out of all of these fragrances before I gave you guys a review. I was hoping to kind of get this video done already, but I didn't want to rush myself. I didn't want to, you know, not give you guys the proper tea, because this is what we're here for, let's be real. So I got this on Amazon the same way that most people do with Al-Rehab fragrances. I paid about £6 for this, I believe, on Amazon, and go, let me tell you something. The notes first, because that's the most important part. So according to Fragrantica, this has notes of vanilla, chocolate, musk, spices, cinnamon, amber, sandalwood, I'm guessing that's supposed to say, oriental, woodsy notes, and rose. So this doesn't have like top, middle, or bottom notes. This just has notes, girl. It's just got notes. So let's get into it. Okay, so upon first spray, when I first opened this up, I was like, here we go again. Here we go again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
alcohol. I'm just smelling pure fucking alcohol. What is going on with these Arabian perfumes? And I was like, you know what? You learnt yourself from Lattafa's Eclair. I was so kind of like taken aback by that fragrance. When I first smelled it, I was like, oh my god, this is just awful. This is just like pure alcohol. I absolutely hate this. Then I was like, okay, calm down, girl. Calm down. By the way, I don't know why I was getting so upset, because it's literally cost me like £6, so it's really not that deep. Even if it was pure alcohol, I can't be angry. Let it sit for a bit, and I sprayed this on the box and I sprayed this on my skin because I wanted to see what it smelled like on paper and on my skin, because they can smell very, very different. And I was like, okay, this is starting to make sense. I'm starting to see why people like this so much. This is still very alcoholic, you guys. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't feel like many people have actually mentioned how alcoholic this is upon first spray, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if people maybe aren't getting alcoholic bottles, or maybe their noses just don't pick up on it. I don't know, you guys. Maybe I'm sensitive to it, I'm not sure. But this is still got that underlying alcoholic tone to it, which does make it smell very cheap. So, okay, the hating is done. Because I do enjoy this fragrance, which is why I've made a dent in it. I wouldn't be using it if I didn't enjoy it. I just want to let you guys know that this is the kind of fragrance that needs to sit on the skin. It's the kind of fragrance that you need to let breathe. And then I believe that it is a nice everyday scent. So for me, I get a very kind of powdery cocoa powder, kind of like almost like a cocoa puff smell, like chocolate cereal. Again though, that alcoholic tone is just there for me, and I just feel like that kind of bothers me a little bit. I do get a bit annoyed by it. You guys, the sun just disappeared out of nowhere, so sorry if the lighting's changed, but that's probably going to happen quite a lot throughout this video because I am filming right next to my window. That kind of alcoholic background does annoy me, I'm not gonna lie. But when it's on my skin, I've let it sit for a bit. It is a really nice kind of relaxing, comforting, powdery chocolate scent. It's definitely not rich chocolate like Nutella, or like, girl, if you're wanting a really heavy gourmand, this is not it. This is definitely for like people who like gourmands but they don't love gourmands. Like they kind of want to dip their toe in but they're a little bit scared. Like they don't want to smell like Ferrero Rocher, they just kind of want to smell like hot chocolate powder. This is the perfume that I think would be great for you to kind of start your journey into like chocolate fragrances. Kind of like Tea's Cocoa Soiree by Victoria's Secret, in the sense of the fact that it's a cocoa powder chocolate smell. It's not a thick, rich, creamy chocolate fountain smell. Which I find interesting because some people have said online that they think it smells like a chocolate fountain. Girl, I don't know what chocolate fountain you're smelling, but this is not it. I've been enjoying this. I'm not gonna slate it too much. I think it's a nice cheapie. I think it's a nice skin scent. It doesn't project like crazy, but I wasn't really expecting that from this fragrance anyway. I think this smells a lot better on skin than it does on clothes. So just bear that in mind when you're spraying this. I spray it more so on my skin and I really enjoy it that way. And like I said, it's just a very simple, light, airy chocolate scent, and I feel like you can't go wrong. And I do get why people love it. I just think it's been probably a little bit overhyped. I don't think it smells like a cookie. I don't think it smells like a bakery. I think it's just a really nice, pleasant, powdery chocolate. I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. So do with that information what you will. If you still want to pick it up, pick it up. I think it's definitely worth it. It's so affordable. It's kind of like you might as well pick it up. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But yeah, so that's Choco Musk by Al-Rahab. Okay, so next up, you guys, we're going to talk about the one and only Camera by Lattafa. So I'm really excited to talk about this one, you guys, because out of all three of these I'm going to speak about today, this is my absolute favourite. And I totally get why people have hyped this up the way that they have, because it's just, guys, yeah. Okay, so the notes in this one are cinnamon, nutmeg and bergamot in the top notes. The middle notes are dates, praline, tuberose and vanilla, tonka bean, amberwood, myrrh, benzoin and akigala wood. So, okay, I'm just gonna, oh my
God. Ooh, this is nice, girl.
This is exactly how it looks. It fit. By the way, can we talk about the bottle, you guys? Look at that bottle, look at the colour of that juice. This is so heavy, so weighted, it looks so expensive. It's just like, this looks like it should cost you hundreds of pounds and it doesn't. Like, bear in mind, I have some expensive perfumes, you guys, and they do not feel the way that this feels. So that's one thing. I mean, the bottle doesn't really matter, but I just want to give them credit where it's due because this is just such a beautiful bottle. I think a lot of us know it's supposed to be a dupe for Kilian's Angel Share. I feel like, even though I would say it's of this same family, I wouldn't say it's a dupe. I don't think they're similar enough to call it a dupe, if that makes sense to you guys. I've never owned Kilian's Angel Share, but I've smelt it before, and I don't feel like this is a direct dupe for that fragrance, nor was it intended to be. I think they kind of took inspiration from it, in the sense of it's that kind of sweet, aromatic, warming fragrance, but this is just its own thing, and I think it should be kind of recognised as its own thing because this is such a beautiful fragrance, and guys, it's just gorgeous. This to me is like a spicy, sweet, little bit boozy apple pie, and this is just exactly what it smells like to me. I do think of this as a gourmand, even though a lot of people probably don't, because it hasn't actually got an apple note in here, so I'm not sure why I'm getting apple, but I'm not going to question it because I love apple scents. I think it's probably something to do with the dates in here, I'm really not sure. This is just the perfect scent for this time of year, going into autumn. This would be amazing for Christmas if you were going out for like a Christmas party. This is just so bougie feeling, like it really is. It's a sexy, sweet, spicy, aromatic goodness, and I feel like on men and women this would be absolutely gorgeous. For the price, it's out of this world. It really is out of this world, and I just know I'm gonna absolutely love this year, and I'm probably gonna get through this way quicker than I need to. It's definitely worth the hype, you guys. If you can still get your hands on it, definitely pick it up. I know they've also got the coffee version of this fragrance, which a lot of people say the coffee doesn't last particularly long, but apparently that fragrance is a little bit more feminine leaning, so I'm interested to try that one. I don't find this one particularly masculine, however. I just think it's a very good unisex fragrance. It's not one of those unisex fragrances that are kind of more masculine leaning, in my opinion. I just think this is the most beautiful, spicy, sweet apple pie. That's really all I get from this. The thing as well, I haven't had any issues with the lid. I know some people say that the lid falls off really easily. My one seems to be okay, so hopefully that's a problem that's been resolved. But yeah, I'm probably going to give this fragrance like a 10 out of 10, honestly. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm never letting this leave my collection, you guys. Just so gorgeous. Hey, and for my last fragrance, you guys, we are going to go in and we are going to talk about Love Affection by Lattafa. So let's talk, why do I sound so posh then? Lattafa. Like, who am I? Like, girl, calm down. So this one has intrigued me for a while. So I used to own Kayali's Yum Pistachio. I only had a small little bottle of it. I think I had like the tiny 10ml bottle. So I never wanted to pay full price for that fragrance. And the reason for that is when I first smelt it, I feel like we all had the same kind of experience with that perfume, where we were a bit like, oh, okay, I wasn't really expecting that, kind of was expecting something a bit more lactonic, a bit more gourmand, and I feel like everyone just felt a bit kind of let down and a bit bummed out by that perfume, expecting something completely different because of the marketing, and that's kind of why I don't really purchase Kayali fragrances anymore. You know, they have a couple of great fragrances, don't get me wrong, and I do think Young Pistachio is a beautiful scent, but it's just the marketing just doesn't always match up to the scent, and that kind of just annoys me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it does annoy me, so I just kind of stopped buying their perfumes. I don't find that they last very long, and that was really the issue I had with Young Pistachio. And you know, I smelt it for the first time, wasn't a huge fan, but I kind of forced myself to wear it because I just was intrigued by the fragrance, and I ended up really enjoying that perfume, but just not in the way that I had expected to enjoy it. I found it kind of addicting in this weird way. I wasn't sure why. I just found myself wanting to wear it very often, and I was getting a lot of compliments when I wore the fragrance. However, the longevity is just not where it's at. For me personally, I don't find that they stick to my skin very well. I don't find that they last. You know, I think certain perfumes that they have are worse than others. I feel like Vanilla 28 is quite a good one for longevity. However, Young Pistachio for me, and you know, Vanilla Rock Candy, whatever the hell it's called, it just doesn't last for me personally. So I think for the price point, I would expect better performance. I would expect better projection, and I just was kind of let down every time. So I'm happy that I always stuck to like samples or the 10ml bottles, because I just think I would have regretted it if I'd have purchased the big size. This is why I wanted to buy Lattafa's Love Affection, because a lot of people were saying that this was like a spot on dupe. It was pretty much identical, and I believe this one came out before Paris Corner's Care Pistachio. I was going back and forth between purchasing that one and this one, and I was just like, I don't know what one to get, I don't know what one's going to be better. So I was reading a lot of like Fragrantica reviews, and a lot of people were saying that this was the kind of creamier version of the two dupes. So I was obviously intrigued by that, because that's kind of what I initially wanted from Young Pistachio in the first place. I wanted it to be lactonic, and I was kind of let down, but I still enjoyed what I did get. So I was very intrigued by the fact that this could potentially be a more creamy version of Young Pistachio. So before we get into it, let's go through the notes like I have with the other fragrances. So we're going to start off with top notes of pistachio, hazelnut and blackcurrant, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's in the original, but maybe it is. Middle notes of lactones, jasmine, raspberry and lily of the valley, and base notes of, again, lactones, vanilla and tonka bean. So you can definitely see how this fragrance is potentially going to be a lot creamier than the original. However, we're kind of missing out on a lot of those more gourmand notes, such as like whipped cream and candy floss and all of that. That was in the original. However, did any of us actually get any of that? Because I didn't. Or like, there was so many notes in that fragrance. I kind of feel like it was just a lot. Like, there's a lot going on, and I feel like no one could really smell any of it. Probably the strongest note I got in that fragrance was the rum. I wasn't too phased when I saw that this fragrance doesn't have those notes in it, because I was like, girl, I didn't smell them anyway, so what am I really missing out on here? Probably not a lot. So with this one, again, on initial spray, I felt a bit confused. And I don't know why, because we all know the original is just not, it's not really pistachio gelato, let's be real. I think the marketing got us all a bit brainwashed. And I kind of had the same-ish experience with this one when I first smelt it, in the sense of like, I was expecting more creaminess, more kind of maybe even like an ice cream note, and I didn't get any of it. And I don't know why I was surprised, because this is a dupe for that fragrance. It's not supposed to be its own thing. I was a little bit like, oh, okay, this is still very fresh, very clean smelling, almost a little bit aftershavey. To me, this smells like a unisex fragrance, but leaning masculine, in my opinion. I haven't heard anyone else say that, so I don't know if it's just me. But this has a underlying kind of cologne smell to it. I think is what I find so addicting about this scent. And I absolutely love men's colognes. I just find them so intoxicating, so like, oh, sexy, delicious. Like, I am absolutely obsessed with that kind of manly smell. Did I ever know that that was what I wanted to smell like? No. I'm a very girly girl, I'm a very feminine girl. I love pink. Not to be stereotypical, but I am a very feminine person and I like to present myself in a feminine way, and that also relates to fragrances. So I've never really kind of thought of myself as a kind of person who would want to smell a bit more masculine leaning. I don't think by any means this is purely or strictly a masculine scent. It's definitely not. It's definitely wearable as a woman, and it just adds this kind of uniqueness to it, which I can just never quite put my finger on. And it was the same with Young Pistachio. I was just like, what is that smell? Like, what is that that's making me want to wear this over and over? And this has the exact same thing in it. I smell it, the more I love it. And I am pleasantly surprised by how good of a dupe this is. I think it's probably about 97% there when it comes to similarity to the original. I haven't tried Care Pistachio by Paris Corner, so I don't know if that one's closer or maybe not as close. I will say this is a fragrance that does transform as you wear it. Projection wise, it projects pretty well. The times that I've worn this, I've actually received compliments, which is always nice. Like the only two compliments I get is like my hair is nice or I smell really good, so, or like my makeup or something, but like it's usually those two. It's not like an unusual thing for people to compliment me on a perfume. I'm not trying to sound big-headed, you guys. I just overspray. I'm not gonna lie, I just overspray. It's as simple as that. But I just wanted to get that out there because I'm not trying to say that this is like the only fragrance that I've been complimented on, but the fact that I've been complimented on this every time I've worn it is quite impressive for me personally. I think people feel the same way about it as I do, in the sense of like it's so addicting, like it's such a gorgeous smell. And when I did get a compliment on it by a girl who I was helping at my work, a customer, she said that I smelled delicious. So I think even though it's not gourmand in the way that you would expect it to be, I think it's still safe to say that you can count it as a gourmand fragrance. This in the bottle smells completely different to how it smells after about an hour on your skin. On your skin, it definitely turns into a more lactonic fragrance. I do get that kind of sense of like an ice cream kind of dessert. I get more pistachio from this, but there is that underlying floral to it. I think it's probably the combination of the jasmine and the lily of the valley kind of, it stays in the background. It doesn't go, and I just think it lifts it a bit. I think without those florals it would be a lot heavier, which I probably would still enjoy it, but I just think it lifts it slightly, which makes this fragrance great for all seasons. I don't think that this is strictly a winter fragrance. But I would prefer to wear it in the winter just because I associate like nutty fragrances to the winter time. It's kind of like Sol de Janeiro 62. I always think of that fragrance as a winter fragrance, even though everyone else wore it throughout summer. I just feel like pistachios and like caramel are like more autumn winter fragrances to me personally. I don't know, I just feel like Sol de Janeiro usually calls them summer fragrances, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. I'm gonna rate this one probably a, oh guys, I was gonna say an 8 out of 10, but then I keep reminding myself of how obsessed with this I really am and how addicting it is to me. So I think I'm gonna rate it a 9 out of 10. The only thing I wish that this had was slightly less freshness. I think the freshness is really pleasant, but I would just like it to be slightly pared back, especially in that opening. And I just want to let you guys know, don't kind of go into this expecting it to be a pure gelato gourmand fragrance, because it's not that. It's not super creamy, it's not super sickly sweet, but it's super addicting and it's still super delicious. So I would highly recommend this fragrance. I think for the price point, it's absolutely gorgeous. I will say though, I hate the bottle. I think the bottle is hideous. I think it's so ugly. I was kind of hoping that Paris Corner's Care Pistachio would convince me to buy it more, but as soon as I heard that this was the kind of creamier option of the two, I went for this one. Paris Corner's version has a much more beautiful, luxurious looking bottle. This is very well made though, don't get me wrong, it's super heavy, but it's just, I'm just confused by it. Like, I don't really understand what I'm looking at. It's just ugly, girl, I'm not gonna lie. All of these kind of Pride flankers or whatever they're called are kind of ugly. But there's so many of them that I want to try, so I'm really intrigued to try some more of these. I'm also super excited, you guys. They are actually coming out with a new Pride Lattafa fragrance, and it is going to be called Brioche Vanille. I'll insert a picture for you guys. I literally saw it on TikTok as like a upcoming release, so it's not actually out yet. I don't know if I'm going to regret telling you guys that, because you're probably all going to be like, oh my god, I need to like pre-order it. But I don't think it's available at all in the UK, but I think perhaps if you're in Canada you can get it. It's supposed to be like a really gourmand bakery vanilla croissant fragrance, which I just think sounds absolutely amazing. And I think that one hopefully will be much more gourmand than this one, which, to be honest with you, like I said, I still really enjoy this, and the times that I've worn this, I've absolutely loved it, and it lasts all day. So that's my review of Love Affection. I feel like that was quite a long one, but there's a lot to say about this fragrance. It's just so unique. It's a lot better than the original, you guys, I really do. It lasts longer, it's stronger, and it's more creamy. So 9 out of 10 for that one, for sure. And going back to Al Rahab's Choco Musk, I'm gonna rate this one I'm gonna rate it like a 6.5, which for such a cheap perfume, I'm really not mad at that at all. I just think I was a little bit let down because people were kind of overhyping this. You know, there was people saying that this literally smelled like melting chocolate, and I was like, oh, that sounds amazing, but does it? Does it really? Like, it's £6. Are we really going to get that kind of level of richness in a very cheap fragrance? Probably not. So maybe I've got to let this one sit a bit more. I don't know if it's kind of the same as other Arabian perfumes in the sense of you've got to let them macerate. Let me know, you guys, if you own this, do you have to let it sit? Does it become more chocolatey when you let it sit? Okay, you guys, so that is the end of my fragrance review video of some really hyped up Arabian perfumes. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed testing all of these three, and please expect to see more of these videos soon. I start to grow my perfume collection. And yeah, I'm just so excited to keep on trying fragrances by Lattafa, other Arabian brands. So let me know, you guys, what fragrances you want to see me review next. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.